Today we're taking a look at the ever-popular Charizard from the Pokemon Go set. We've got a couple to talk about. Let's focus in on this one first. Charizard is a 170 HP Fire-type Stage 2 Pokemon that has the Burn Brightly ability. That is what we're going to be using this particular Charizard for, because it essentially means that every Fire Energy that we have in play counts for 2 Fire Energy instead of 1. If we get a couple of Fire Energies in play, then that starts to build up really quickly, and we can have big attacks for very small energy commitments. For example, if we want to attack with Flare Blitz for this Charizard, we deal 170 damage for 2 fire and 2 colorless energy. Instead of providing all of those energies, we simply attach 2 fires, and that will do the job. So you can see how quickly we can get into some of these big energy attacks. Now, this Charizard's not going to be powering itself up. Instead, it's going to be working in conjunction with a couple of fire-type attackers, namely the Radiant Charizard from Pokemon Go. This is probably one of the best cards, if not the best card, from the Pokemon Go set, and it's because of its Combustion Blast attack. It deals 250 damage straight out the gate, which is always really good. 250 damage plus a Choice Belt means that you will be dealing 280 and knocking out a whole bunch of different V-Star Pokemon, but the issue is that its energy cost is way too high. Now, we can obviously fill that energy cost with fire energy thanks to our other Charizard's ability, but we can also reduce the cost by utilizing the ability Excited Heart, which means that for every prize card that your opponent has taken, you can take 1 colorless energy off of the cost of this attack. There are 4 colorless energy here. That means if your opponent has taken 4 prizes, this attack costs 1 fire energy. 280 damage for a single energy attachment is incredibly good, and definitely something that we are going to be working towards. But one other card that I really like that we haven't seen for a very long time is Centiskorch VMAX. This card has the G-Max Centinferno attack, which does 40 damage for 2 colorless energy, plus 40 more for every fire energy attached to this Pokemon. That means that for 2 fire energy, you're going to essentially be dealing 120 damage, but when we have the Charizard in play, we can add another 80 damage to that, because there's effectively 2 more fire energies on it. So you can get up to 200 for 2 attachments, 280 for 3 attachments. You can be knocking out G-Max Pokemon for 3 or 4 energy. VMAX Pokemon. I said G-Max there. That's very weird. Also, as if that wasn't enough, you also get to attach a fire energy from the discard pile to this Centiskorch every time you use its attack, and since it has 320 HP, if your opponent cannot knock it out, which lots of decks at the moment can't do, then you will be swinging again for that massive number on your next turn. All of these attackers are great, but we can't necessarily get them working all at the same time, so I have also included a 4-3 Arceus VSTAR line in here. It's very good for accelerating energy, which obviously means that our Centiskorch will be attacking sooner, but more importantly, it's in the list for its Star Birth ability. Star Birth, if you haven't seen this card before, can be used once per game. You search your deck for 2 cards, any 2 cards you like, chuck them into your hand. It is incredibly good for consistency. And in a deck where you've got a Stage 2 Pokemon like Charizard, Starbirth can easily get that guy in play. We also have Trinity Nova, which for 3 colorless energy deals 200 damage. We can then accelerate 3 basic energies from our deck to our V Pokemon in any way that we like. This can potentially power up a Centiskorch or another Arceus if you need it to. One of the benefits, of course, of having the Charizard is that it's only 2 energy attachments for a Trinity Charge attack, so if we get the Burn Brightly ability in play, then we should be able to attack with all of our attackers very cheaply. Beyond that, the list is relatively self-explanatory. We do have cards like Magma Basin in this list to try and boost some energy onto our Pokemon. I think I'm getting messages on Facebook, which I should have bloody closed, shouldn't I? Well, now you think that you're getting messages on Facebook. Sorry about that. We got Magma Basin to accelerate energy to our Fire-type Pokemon on our bench, and we also have a card that I really like in this list, Hyper Potion. We can discard 2 energy from our Pokemon in play and then heal 120 damage from that Pokemon. If we do have a fire energy on a Pokemon and the Charizard in play, Hyper Potion discards 1 energy instead of 2. It's incredibly good at healing big damage off of your attackers. So, beyond that, the list is pretty self-explanatory. We will see if we can get Charizard to work. I'll throw it out there. I've already played the games. I didn't lose a single one. This deck is incredible. It's time to play. We'll see what we can do. We've got an Arceus and an attachment, which is usually all we need. Plus a quick ball here. Can discard this Lumineon and grab ourselves a Charmander, which we definitely need in order to get our Charizard working here. Now, I don't know what we're playing against, but they do have a Sobble in the active, so this deck could be anything. I'll throw it out there. There have been a couple of games that I have played so far that have all been so short that I haven't been able to really show them off, so hopefully I can get this one in. To be honest, I mean, Jolteon V, we're probably going to beat this. Like, seriously, we're probably just going to win. Right, and I'll keep this game in no matter how long it goes for, just to show how powerful this thing can be. We've got an Evo Incense to grab ourselves an Arceus, which is very, very good. And here's where the real power of this deck comes in. Arceus can Starbirth here, and we can search out any two cards we like. I'm going to go for, I think, a Rare Candy and a double Turbo Energy. We could theoretically go for a Fire Energy. Or something like that, because we are going to get the benefit of extra energy here. Maybe we just... No, we should go for the... I think we should still go for the double turbo. I think that's fine. Oh, yeah, double turbo is fine. Because this way we've got more energy to accelerate in the deck as well. But look at this. We're going to go into our Charizard here. We've got double turbo energy onto the Arceus. We can switch into it. We've got a quick ball to discard the Clara. This can grab us either Arceus or the Centiskorch. We'll grab the Centiskorch, thanks very much. And then we can just use Professor's Research here and see what we find. Now, that hand was absolutely stacked, but we were very, very easily able to get a Trinity over off. We've got a Charizard out turn 2, and we have a Centiskorch, which when it comes down to it, this Centiskorch has 6 fire energy on it on turn 3 of the game, right? It is turn 3, and our Centiskorch has 6 fire energies attached to it. We've got an Ultra Ball for the prizes, which means that we can just search out the VMAX. Okay, whatever happens, whatever our opponent does here, Jolteon VMAX cannot take a knockout on a Centiskorch. It does not matter. We are just gonna absolutely crush this game. we're gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in to show you just how powerful this thing can be when it all works together. And honestly, I'm really upset that Palkia is a water type, because if this deck wasn't weak to the best deck in the format, then it could very easily just be the deck to play, because it's so powerful. We even find the Magma Basin, so we can get an energy from our discard. There are 10 Centiskorch on 10 energy on this Centiskorch. I can barely talk. We have 470 damage on turn 3. What are you talking about? We're going to play 2 more games now. We are into our opponent's turn. I'll say I am apologizing profusely to you. I have no idea why, but this video has been full of random noises that have just been popping up on my computer. Like, I'm usually pretty good at dealing with those kind of noises, but sometimes they just go, like alert sounds and Facebook sounds. I have no idea why they're happening today, but I appreciate you sticking through it. So we'll wait and see what our opponent... They're double VIP pass opening hand here. That's incredible. Is It Over Yet Dog is an incredibly good name for a ptcgo account. I will throw that out there. And this is going to be a really interesting matchup. This Mewtwo V-Star deck has been floating around the ladder quite a bit, thanks to every single other Pokemon TCG YouTuber who's done a video on it. I think we can thank Andrew Mahone for starting it off. He was the first person to put out this Lunatone Solrock deck, and now suddenly it is everywhere, and you can understand why. It is very strong. Please comment down below if you want me to make the same video that everyone else has made, by the way. Tell you what, I'll say this much. If we can beat the likes on yesterday's video, so I think we had about 300 or something like that, if we can beat that amount of likes, so 300 likes or more on this video within 24 hours, I will play Mewtwo VMAX on the ladder, and hopefully it'll be at least a little bit different. Something that you can actually enjoy watching rather than the same Mewtwo V-Star deck over and over and over. So yeah, 300 likes. If we get more than 300 likes, then I guess I'll play it. I mean, I've got it built. It's pretty decent, but I'm not necessarily enamored with playing the same thing that everyone else is playing. There is their turn. So we now have an interesting decision to make. We've got a Charizard that we're going to need to discard, so we will do that. I want to find a double turbo energy though, and we have. And not only have we found the double turbo, we've also found a couple of attackers that we could theoretically make use of here. We'll Trinity Charge. We only have 2 fire energies left in the deck, and of course we do, because we did just discard a whole bunch of them, so I'm not surprised. But that's a pretty solid start for our game here. I think the only thing that we really could have asked for that would be better in this situation is maybe a Charmander in play. If we had a Charmander down, then I would be feeling very, very happy here. We are getting Marnied, which means we lose Fire Energy and Arceus V-Star, but I'm sure we will be fine. That is a hand that I can use for sure. Double Ultra Ball, Double Turbo, and Radiant Charizard are useful cards. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. 2 Mewtwo V-Stars means that we can win this game, I think. If we get some knockouts on some Mewtwo's, then I reckon we should be good. We should be A-okay. We'll wait and see what our opponent does before... Why did that happen? Why did that happen? Are you scooping up the Lunatone to Training Court the energy back to Radiant Greninja the energy away? Is your hand that bad? That's a wild play, by the way. That's actually genuinely incredible that that happened. Alright, fair enough. Okay, we'll see what the turn is. At the moment, this deck is just kind of sitting here doing nothing, and this is something that I have noticed with Mewtwo V-Star, is that it is not the foolproof deck that some people seem to think that it is. It's very powerful. By all means, it is incredibly powerful. But my deck's powerful too, and I play Arceus, which means I never brick. Never, ever, ever brick. Please don't play a path. Thank you very much. That would have been so embarrassing. Okay, Evo Incense in the hand means we've got even more options here. I like that very much. Let's go for the Arceus off of the Evo Incense. And now I think we're in a position where we can simply get an energy out of the discard pile with Training Court, attach that to the active, and I think we Starbirth now. Now, I know my opponent's hand's really bad, so there might be a world where I get, like, boss's orders here. Take the Greninja out and just make their life really miserable. That could potentially be a play. I don't actually mind that, to be honest. The cards that we've got, it seems reasonable. Yeah, why not? Let's just get it and see what happens. I mean, this is why we play the game, right? Just to figure out whether or not these ideas are good. Because we're not going to take a knockout on the active, so we may as well try something here. So we will remove the Radiant Greninja. We'll just get rid of the opportunity for our opponent to draw into all of these cards. We can accelerate to the Centiskorch, and look at that. We've been rewarded with a Professor's Research from the discard pile here. So more than happy with that. Now we're in a position where we need to knock out 3 more Pokemon. We can definitely achieve that, although I am concerned that our opponent might be able to get a knockout on Arceus V-Star this turn. Psypurge, for those who are playing along at home, deals 270 damage at its maximum capacity. It's Psychic Colorless, deals 90 times the amount of energy that you discard from your Pokemon in play. So if our opponent discards all 3 of the energy that are there, which they absolutely can, then they will do 270. The Choice Belt gets them to 300. So the Arceus in the active is likely deceased, but you know what? That's okay. We're not too worried about that. We may be able to create a little bit of an interesting decision here. We'll see what we'll see. We'll see. There's a world where I get 3 energy on a Centiskorch next turn and take a knockout. I don't know that that's an impossible thing to do. There's a world where we, like, Arceus knock out the benched Mewtwo. There's a world where they just don't take a knockout as well. That's also a planet that we live in. They decide to Star Raid as well, and that makes our life just way easier. That's just incredible. It makes our life so easy now. We can go for the Centiskorch VMAX. That seems pretty good. We've got healing in our deck, which is great as well. And at this stage, we are going to just chuck that down. We're going to chuck down the Charizard, then we're going to research. And we are looking for the Charizard pieces here. If we can get them, and we can, then we are just living the dream, to be honest. We've got Burn Brightly Charizard coming into play here. Rare Candy off the Charmander means that our energies that are fire are dealing twice as much. What's the word that I'm trying to say? There's so much happening here. Anyway, we've got an energy. We can attach to the Centiskorch. Then we can Magma Basin. And you know how I was saying there was a world where we get 3 energy on a Centiskorch? It's this one. This is the world that we're living in. Retreat into Centiskorch. 180. We could get knocked out next turn. I don't like that. Do we just heal? Do we just knock out? I think we just knock out. We'll just take the knockout. Take the knockout. If we get returned, it's fine. They're going to find it really hard to get a Mewtwo powered up next turn, though, so looking pretty solid. And we've got Lumineon in hand, which means we can go for Boss's Orders next turn as well. So I think that this Centiskorch has done the job for us. And the fact that our opponent didn't take a knockout last turn doesn't actually matter. Because the Centiskorch VMAX would still be alive regardless. So it's with the exact same play would have happened. Because I would have promoted the Arceus V. The exact same thing would have happened. So even if they hadn't taken a knockout, incredibly powerful. This Centiskorch. Ooh. And I'm 99% sure this Centiskorch is going to live forever. Like, I mean, I'm not one to make sweeping statements, but we theoretically can get this Centiskorch to live for a very, very, very long time. Hyper Potions, etc. Boss's Orders. Okay, well now the Centiskorch will never die. Arceus being knocked out on the bench, that is okay by me. You can take 2 prizes, my friend. That's a-okay. We have a Centiskorch with infinite damage to be dealt. We have a Hyper Potion as well. And most importantly, if we find that we have a Boss's Orders in our deck, I think we just automatically win here. We have a boss. Okay, so let's grab out a Charmander, I suppose. It's not the end of the world, though. We can throw the Lumineon down. Grab ourselves a supporter. We are going to use Boss's Orders to bring out that Mewtwo on the bench. We're going to attach an energy and heal, I think. Let's attach an energy to this Charizard with the Magma Basin. Heal an energy off of this Centiskorch because of Charizard's ability. 120 damage healed off for a single energy. Then G-Max Centinferno takes the knockout. And we get to accelerate. And this Centiskorch is now unkillable and has the power to deal like 400 damage. I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's certainly more than enough. I could do the maths. I don't really want to do the maths. There's 8 modifiers. 8 times 4, 9 times 4, because it's base 40. 9 times 4 is 360. Is that the number? Did I do the maths right? Am I doing 360 damage? So our opponent needs to do 300 damage this turn just to knock out the Centiskorch. And even if they do, we have the Arceus on the bench to just come in and knock out for the game. A single prize is all we need. And in the end, it turned out that knocking out that Greninja wasn't actually too bad of an idea. Maybe shouldn't have done it, to be honest, but that's okay. It happened. And here we are. Here we are, watching our opponents stack up energy on a Lunatone. I don't know that they're ever going to be able to get a knockout. What is it? 3? It's 3 plus 30 for everyone. 30 plus 30, so we're looking at 6 that are on there at the moment. 7 times 30. There's going to be 8 times 30. They need 2 more energies. They need 2 more energies on this Lunatone to get a knockout on this Centiskorch. And if they whiff the knockout, doesn't matter, we win. And if they don't whiff the knockout, we win anyway. We also have Charizard. We have Radiant Charizard on the bench. So even if they do take a knockout, we can just attack with one of 2 Pokemon and win the game. Incredible. Incredible stuff. Like, what do you say? There's one, they need 1 more energy. Do they have 1 more energy to get? Can they get to 300? I'd like to see it. I would love to see this Lunatone deal 300 damage. That would be rad. I'd love it. Put the Greninja back in. Here it comes. They're going to draw a card off of an energy into a scoop up net or something. There's a Solrock. There's not enough damage. Oh, you cannot do that. You cannot leave me alive. Let's take a knockout with a Radiant. Oh, hang on a second. I wouldn't have been able to do that anyway. They've conceded. Well, let's move on for that one very quickly. Now, I just want to give a quick update to those of you who are following along at home as to the situation with my monitor. As you'll remember from my previous video, there was an issue with the LCD or LED or whatever it is, the lights that project the images. You know how motion pictures work, I assume. Anyway, it didn't work, and I woke up this morning being like, well, there's a 50% chance that it's just fixed itself overnight, right? Like, there's a 50% chance it just works. And then there's a 50% chance that it's gotten worse. And it was worse. Like, it was genuinely really bad. Like, it was white. The whole screen was white. So, we've got a new monitor now. I went out and bought a new monitor today. Let's grab a Charmander. We've got an Ultra Ball as well. I'd really like to see an Energy, so we're going to need to play the Professor's Research, I think. It's disappointing that we're going to lose the Incense and the V-Star here, but we may as well... to try and... There is no Centiskorch in this deck, okay. There's no Centiskorch VMAX in this deck either. Okay, so that's going to make it hard. And we are playing up against a Dialga, so I was kind of hoping that we could just use that and win for free, but it's okay. We'll see what happens in this one. No energy. Why, thank you, game. I just want one energy card. Please, sir, thank you. Ultra Ball away Lumineon and switch, I think. And hopefully we get, like, something... Let's get the Arceus now and then draw 3 cards. Because what are the chances that we whiff energy? 0! Oh, double turbo as well. Perfect. It's exactly the right one. Let's go for 3 energy cards. We'll put them all on the Arceus V on the bench. And theoretically, next turn, we have a knockout on a benched Dialga V, because of the Choice Belt on the Arceus and the 200 damage that will be dealt, so that's pretty good. So yeah, as I was saying, yeah, I woke up and the screen was worse, so I went out to the old Office Works today and bought a relatively nice, super cheap display thing. It's from Acer. It seems to work. The issue is that it's bigger than my previous monitor, which means that my entire desk is needed to move. Which means that the light that I would normally have here, like here, is now all the way to the left. Which means that I've needed to reconfigure my light. You might have noticed that I'm a little warmer. And I'm being lit predominantly from this side. And that's because the light has to change, because it's being emitted from a different position. So tell me if you think that it looks better or not. What is this Magnezone doing? There are energies being attached everywhere. There's a Giga Magnet being Giga Magneted. Which is not ideal. Definitely not great. Retreating, I can live with though. Can definitely deal with that. What is our play in this game? I mean, we theoretically should be able to win as long as one of our early prizes is Centiskorch. To be honest, we could probably just win anyway. Like, I mean, Dialga is good, but it's not like amazing. The tough one's going to be when they boss out the Crobat and then V-Star attack into that, take the knockout, and then we get knocked down. That's going to be the problem. They benched another Dialga V, so our play is still open to us, so we might run into that here. We'll try and just get 2 prizes. I feel like that's perfectly reasonable to do. Just, you know, take knockouts. Seems like a good way to progress the board state in the Pokemon TCG. We'll also Evolution Incense and grab ourselves our final Arceus V-Star from the deck. And throw that one down into play and attach an energy, I think. We can Trinity Nova here and take a knockout. It's a bit of a risk, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Not playing Starbirth, but that's okay. Because we'll just draw into a... Nope, okay, so if they play Path of the Peak, we lose. We shouldn't have done that. We should have Starbirthed for a thing. If we get Pathed, and I have to hope for the best, then that is going to be grim. But, on the plus side, we do at least have a knockout on a benched Pokemon next turn, if we get a turn. I mean, our opponent's likely to just use their V-Star attack here and go for it. Although, to be fair, they don't have a lot of energy on their Dialga already. I know that Magnezone can find some, but they need to find 3, and that's a lot. I'm not sure. Irida here coming into play. So this may be able to guarantee... Oh, Energy Recycler. Okay, well that's going to increase the likelihood that they find the energy that they need. Shuffling 5 Metal Energies back into the deck. Seems pretty good. Giga Magnet here, attaching 1. Attaching 2. They whiffed it. They've got 1 from hand. Oh, no. Oh, no. At least they don't have the boss, so they can, yeah, whatever. They can attack into this Arceus, that's fine. You can use your V-Star attack to whittle this little Arceus down. That is fine by me. The big issue that I think we're going to have is that we don't quite have a knockout on a Dialga just yet. Like, we're concerningly far away from a knockout on Dialga, to be honest. Why are there so many energy coming out of the deck? That's incredible. There's like 4 of them. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what's our play then? We at least have Starbirth, provided, of course, that they don't use an ability. 2 Lumineons means that maybe we win the game even without a Charizard here. They're going to boss and knock out the fresh V-Star. That's perfectly fair, perfectly reasonable. Let's see if we can get ourselves... That's exactly maths. Oh my goodness, incredible. Let's see if we can't get ourselves a knockout here. Now, we can guarantee it. We can boss, which is great. But the big issue that I'm going to have, although to be honest, let's just Starbirth. I think if we Starbirth here, this should be fine. We've got a boss. Let's see. I think... What do we go for here? Do we just go for the Charizard? Like the Radiant Charizard? We only have 1 boss left. I think we just get the Radiant Charizard. This is a gamble though. This is maybe wrong. I feel like this is fine, but there is a world where this doesn't pay off for us. Let's boss up the Lumineon. And then I think we should be fine. We could Crobat if we want to. I think it's probably fine to just attach to the Charmander though. We'll Trinity Nova here. And we'll take 2 prizes. Now, this should be fine. But maybe, and the more I'm seeing this play, the more... Oh, the Crobat was prized. Okay, so that's lucky that we didn't go for that. The more I'm looking at this play, the more upset I am by it, because if our opponent knocks this Radiant Charizard out... Actually, no, they can just knock the active out with Magnezone. I think we might be able to... I think we might be about to lose, ladies and gentlemen. I think not dealing with this Dialga has meant that we are going to be very hard-pressed to win this one. So they're going to Giga Magnet. They'll draw a bunch of energy out of their deck if there are any left. And this is why weakness is not always a surefire way to win or lose a game. Our opponent Power Beams here, and now we're in a spot where if our opponent finds boss's orders, I actually win. Okay, so I'm gonna put the... Sure, let's put the Crobat in the active. We've got Escape Rope. We'll see if we can just trick him. Just trick him? Can we just trick him? Trick him. Just trick him. Be tricked. Be tricked. Put the Dialga in the... Okay, that's fair. Okay, well, I'll put the Charmander up here then. I think our route to victory now is hope our opponent whiffs the boss's orders, which they absolutely may. We will grab ourselves out a basic Pokemon here, probably... No, we'll probably just leave it. We want a Crobat for as many as we can. We find the exact combination of cards that I need, which is fantastic. We'll grab ourselves Charizard here. That was very unlikely. Should have benched that Arceus, just didn't. Panicking. I'm panicking. We've got the Charizard. Both of our Charizards in play. We're actually going to attack with Flare Blitz here. We take the knockout on the Magnemite, 370 damage. Thank you very much. We take 1 prize, and now our opponent needs to... Oh my god, I've just flubbed the game. Oh no. Oh no. We should have attacked with the Radiant Charizard, because we had to discard the fire from the active. If they just pass, they can just... Oh no. Oh no. Oh, they can just click pass. If they whiff the boss, they can just research until they find it. Oh, no. Oh, can you imagine being this bad at Pokemon cards? We used the wrong... They Metal Blast anyway. Oh, it's fine. All they had to do was pass and we would lose. Radiant Charizard coming to the victory. Look at him go, Combustion Blast. See you later, buddy. 500 damage to you. Oh, well, we got lucky there. I don't know how we pulled it off. Somehow we've managed to get through there and win the game. Hey, thanks very much to these people over here for being channel members. If you want to get your name up on the board, eventually I'll put it up there if you've signed up. But become a member. There's a join button down below. That would be fantastic. Like the video if you'd like to see that Mewtwo V-Star deck, by the way. And click on this video. Look at this. A little Lambipum. You like to flip some coins? It's me flipping. I don't have a coin to flip.